a friend who often likes to compare women's brains to spaghetti. If you're looking at a piece of spaghetti and a bowl of pasta, you can't pick apart where it ends. You can only see the beginning of the thought. Just like when you're having a conversation with someone and you have a point and you're talking about a topic, and then all of a sudden you end up on a whole nother conversation. And it makes sense to you because you have followed this certain pattern of thinking. But unless you lay it out for them, they're just wondering how you got to that topic. This is a perfect springboard for the article I want to talk about with you today. The article is called Can We Talk? It was by Charlotte Roberts, and it was published in the Journal for Quality and Participation. The article focuses on what Roberts calls the ladder of inference. The ladder of inference is basically used in groups or teams in an organization to help you make the most out of a conversation. It helps you fully express your ideas, and it helps you draw everybody else's ideas fully out into the open. It's called the ladder of inference because it is like walking up a ladder. It's all steps, like on the rungs of a ladder. This is extremely important as soon-to-be professionals to know about, or at least I think it is, because if you have a plan that you want to present to a team, it's important that you fully express yourself because they can always add to it and innovate, just as Robert says in her article. It also is important because it helps individuals look deeper at what they're trying to figure out. If you have to fully think out each point to your thought process, you'll be able to look at it in a deeper way. It also helps teams clearly get through what they're trying to do. And the more you move up in an organization, the more complex your problems are going to be, and the more you'll probably have to work with a team because they're bringing diversity and all of their experiences to the team and to help you understand, to help you improve your plan. So I've already shown you what the ladder of inference is used for. So let's jump right into the ladder of inference. The ladder of inference has two main components, the first of which is advocacy and the second is inquiry. Advocacy is basically advocating for your own plan. You use the ladder to draw out everything you want to say about your plan, everything that you think is important. And the second part of advocacy, though, is having others give opinions and point out your flaws in your plan, but in a constructive way. Now, inquiry is all about asking questions to lead a person up the ladder so they can pull out their thoughts as well. She also gives tips when you're looking at advocacy and inquiry. One of those would be blinking words. Blinking words are when I might have a shared meaning, or we may not have the same shared meaning of a word's definition. I may have one definition for it, but you may have another. So you need to fully define the word past just using it. You need to fully explain what it means to you so they know where you're coming from. It's also extremely important to listen and not try to immediately discount some of these ideas and try to come up with your own as they're talking. You need to listen fully. I thought it would be best if we started actually walking up the ladder of inference. So I can show you through an example of what she means. So the first part, as I've said, is advocacy. And the first part of improving advocacy is improving it. The second part would be letting others know your idea. So improving advocacy, I would state my assumptions and the facts and how I got there. So I thought that a good example would be if I were working for an organization that is a chain of grocery stores, and I believe it's a good idea if we have more organic food in our stores, a wider selection. So my assumption and facts and how I got there would be, I think we should put more organic foods in our stores. Organic is both popular now and it is healthy. Then I would explain my assumptions. I assume that health outweighs any cost because organic food is pricier. I would also make my reasoning clear. That is the next step. I thought this because it has become such a trend now to be healthier that there's more awareness brought to organic food being so good for you that I think it's important that we have in our grocery stores. Then the next step would be to explain how and who and why it would affect whoever it would be affecting. You should give examples. So my example would be new mothers who want to feed their baby organic foods. So they make their own baby food out of organic fruits and vegetables. That way they know they are getting the best and that their child is safe. Then you also try to figure out others' perspectives as you speak. So what are they thinking about what you're saying? So if you think that they're really interested in the cost, you would talk more about the cost. If you think if they're thinking about, how big of a selection, you would talk a lot about that. It would depend. Now the second part of improving advocacy is you testing your conclusions and assumptions through others. So basically in this, I won't walk you all the way through it, but basically in this one, you're inviting others to look at your reasonings and your assumptions, and you're inviting them to show you where you're wrong. In this step, it can be really easy to get frustrated because you are very used to making your plans foolproof. But plans can always be improved and no one's perfect. But this is what this whole part focuses on. Now the second part, of course, is improved advocacy. So it's getting others to show their thought processes. So you're basically leading them up the ladder. And she has steps for that too, such as using unaggressive language and pulling out all their reasoning. Explain why you ask them questions as you pull out their reasoning. Then you compare your assumptions to theirs. That is the second part of improving inquiry. So in this, as you walk up the ladder, you be doing things as check out what you understand. So you would say things like, so what you're trying to say is, and you keep following these steps so that everything is said and nothing is left unsaid. So you have all the facts. Finally, they cover protocols for facing a point of view you disagree with and when you come to an impasse. And she has steps for getting through these as well, such as asking about their thought process and keeping an open mind, listening for bigger pictures, taking notes. All of these are really important. Finally, I would like to talk about why, to evaluate this article. It's extremely helpful in learning to express oneself in a group. It is also extremely important. This article was extremely good at showing you how to get past a disagreement or an impasse. It is extremely complete, I thought. It not only had the entire ladder of inference, but it had tips such as blinking words. I didn't have time to go over the entire article with you, but I gave you a really great summary of it. And I think it's important that you go look at the ladder of inference yourself and use it next time you go to work in a team. It was also extremely well organized with tons of headings showing you where you needed to go. I thought it was a great article that would be very helpful in a team. You should go check it out. Thank you.